Take the remote. Turn it on. Wait, let me turn it off. Okay, turn it on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here on CNN, the Corporate Nonsense Network. Welcome to our program, Meet the Press. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest, Barack Obama. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Barack Obama. I want you to know I stand on my record. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand for change. I have a platform that makes sense. Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin my speech, say farewell to ex-President George Bush. One last goodbye. George Bush, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin my address. If you've been following the polls, you're probably aware that we just had a victory over John McCain. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm opposed to violence on television. It's not Shakespeare. You met me on the street corner. Ladies and gentlemen, what we need is universal health care. Not just for Earth, but Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. We need truly universal health care. Hey, you guys, come in a little bit. It's safe. I took my medicine. I took my medication. I got my record expunged, I promise. And Mr. Obama, we don't have a lot of time. I'm checking my watch. We don't have that much time, but I was wondering if you could take a few questions from the press. Mr. Obama, what about the search for Osama bin Laden? Do you plan to continue the search for Osama bin Laden? If so, how?
We're seeking creative new methods. Trying to locate Osama bin Laden. It's okay. I've known for that one for it's worth it.
Mr. Obama, we had just a few more questions. I wanted to ask you, what about Prop 8? It deals. Don't walk out like my daddy did. That deals with same-sex marriage.
Actually, I'm a member of the support group for heterosexual men who live in the Bay Area. Both of us. We're having a meeting in a phone booth Tuesday, and kind of nervous because the other guy's been listening to Judy Garland records. I'm doing cats in summer stock.
Mr. Obama, we just had a few more questions. Now, what about Iraq? Do you plan to continue the assault on Iraq?
When I stand for peace in Iraq, I want to withdraw our army as well as naval forces from the no-fly zone.
Mr. Obama, just a few more questions. What about the medical marijuana and the war on drugs?
We need increased funding for law enforcement. We must step up the war on drugs.
It's the pigs. Hide the pot.
In terms of medical marijuana, well, that's a question that deserves further study by a joint congressional committee.
There's a writer's strike. What do you want from me? Mr. Obama, just a few more questions. What about the economy? How do you plan to fix the economy?
The tax cuts. Middle-class tax cuts. The market can regulate itself. Tax cuts. We had a recent crash in housing that negatively impacted Wall Street. We saw the train wreck coming, but we didn't do anything about it. And nobody quite knows where the bottom is. Some of the funding that was earmarked, it actually was diverted into pork barrel spending in light of a record deficit. I want to authorize $100 billion for a committee to study wasteful spending in Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that trickle-down economics does not work. And
I wanted to, you guys wanted to call me. There's my card. I wanted to get my card. Remember why I got these printed in the first place.
A lunatic.
Okay, we got the grand finale. We're moving into, this guy's kind of scary. Oakland, okay. No.
Okay, Mr. Obama, we just have one more question. What about Prop K? It deals with legalized prostitution. What's your position on Prop K?
Well, I'd have to say, doggy style. You know, Prop K was a hard campaign. We managed to keep it up amidst a tight race. Finally reached a climax with Tuesday's election. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Barack Obama. I stand for change. I want to be a president. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. The ayes have it. How about it? How about it?
Standing ovation.
Right on. Right on. Everyone, if you enjoyed the show, put a donation in the hat.
Absolutely.
Donate $5 or more. The money goes to bail out AIG. Absolutely insane government. Whatever you can do. God bless you. Keep me off the streets in the bars where I belong. Right on.
Is it still filming?
Spare change for the mentally deranged?
They have my money.
Right on.
All right, my guys.
Have a good night. God bless.